I note that lunch, or rather dinner, because it might end up as lunch tomorrow, is due to start at 7:45. I will try and get you there as quickly as possible. Can I start, though, by saying thank you very much for inviting me to speak this evening. And thank you, Mashkura, for your welcome. And I have then to say it also to Aisha and Catherine for the film that introduced the Birmingham Leadership Foundation. Now, I'm delighted to be here this evening in my capacity as leader of the City Council. It's a great privilege to serve as leader of this council. It's an even greater honour for me to do it a second time, which is where I am now. Now, in the years ahead, I and indeed the leadership team on the council will have to demonstrate the value of leadership, not just to Birmingham, but given the way in which this city positions itself, I think also to the country as a whole. And to help you through how it is we do that, I just want to take a little bit of a history lesson over the past few months. One of the first things that I did when I became the leader of the council is to set before the council a statement, a policy statement, on the direction of travel that I wanted to take Birmingham over the next year or so. And there were three key priorities that were set out in that leadership statement. The first was to tackle inequality and deprivation, to promote social cohesion across all communities. The second of those was to lay the foundations for a prosperous city, building on an inclusive economy. And the third was to involve local people in their communities, in their local area, and in their public services. Now, you set agendas like that, and you then try to follow through with them. And from time to time, you have to pick up on issues that arise, issues of expediency, or issues of opportunity. And the most recent of those, for me, was the cross-party delegation that I took to number 10 Downing Street, although we didn't get past the House of Commons, to put Birmingham's case to the Prime Minister and to continue the negotiations that we started on the Birmingham and Solihull Local Enterprise Partnership on a city deal. And we did that in conjunction with the business community in the city, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Local Enterprise Council. And I hope it's initiatives like that that we take up with government that will move this city forward on an agenda that we can all share. Because in that example, I was able to take that forward because we shared a vision, and a very simple vision for the city. And that is, very simply put, that we want to see an inclusive city in which many more people can play their part. And that includes, of course, the young people of this city. I have to admit to you that change is frustratingly slow. The gap between the better off and the less well off in this city is as wide as it's ever been. The areas of the city with the greatest deprivation are the same today as they were 10 years ago, as they were 20 years ago. And this cannot go on. We have to change. We have to make a change. In order to progress these agendas, we need to do things differently. We want, I'm sure everybody out in this audience wants, a fair deal for Birmingham, a fair deal for everyone within Birmingham. So what are the foundations of this new approach? What's the leadership, if you like, we're trying to give to the City Council? Well, one aspect of this is an announcement we made in that leader's policy statement, and indeed before, to actually bring forward a business charter for social responsibility, which will invite companies working with the council, contracting with the council, to make even stronger contributions to the city through local employment opportunities, through training and apprenticeships. This is a simple realization that the City Council cannot do these things just by itself, but has to try and work through others to address the agendas of putting Birmingham people into employment and giving Birmingham people, young and older, the skills necessary to take them into employment. I'm proud to say that as of July, we introduced what we call a living wage policy for all employees of the City Council, and that we're expecting that the business community will take up over the months and years to come. And that living wage policy, the principle underlying it, is both simple and powerful. It's that work should bring dignity and should pay enough to provide families with the essentials of life. And that living wage is set at £7.20 an hour currently, updated every year, and is some £1 per hour higher than the national minimum wage. I'm hoping that through the Business Charter for Social Responsibility, companies contracting with the Birmingham City Council will take forward a number of the principles that we will set out in that charter and therefore add value to the commissioning and contracting policies of this city. But what of the years to come? Well, we already know, we've known for some while, that the next few years will be the most difficult faced by this city for a long time. And that's because we are operating in an environment where public services are being cut, the resources for public services are on the decline. I would actually have to say to you that I think that for too long Birmingham has failed to face up to the problems, to grasp the scale of the challenges ahead, let alone shape a shared agenda for that change. If we're to compete in a global economy, and that's what we must do, then the city must seriously up its game in terms of education, skills, investment, connectivity and research. I don't believe that Birmingham has been working as Team Birmingham, as a team. The efforts of the City Council, the efforts of the university and colleges, the efforts of the business community and the like have not actually gelled in support of the city as a whole. Our partnerships with the rest of the public sector, with the business community, with the voluntary and community organisations in the city are in need of reinvigoration. Unfortunately, the City Council itself has often worked in silos, when what the city needs is joined up solutions, new types of services, and a whole new culture of how it does things. Here within the City Council, in the past, Cabinet members were left to attend to their own portfolios and to develop exclusive relationships with a single strategic director. There was not enough discussion of shared issues and objectives, and performance was judged against narrow departmental goals. That in turn meant that officers of the council found it more difficult to work across departments on issues that affected more than one department. Well, we are now having to take forward, I think, a series of radical measures, and over the coming months, the problem may well be that those measures will do very serious damage to the services that this City Council is able to deliver. Through that, though, we must ensure that we maintain a focus on at least one agenda I think you would share with me, and that is a priority of jobs and enterprise. We're beginning to work with the businesses in the city to develop new economic growth zones, and I made an announcement on that just a week ago. I was with a working group last week looking to give women the freedom to work and to start their own businesses by piloting a women's enterprise hub supported by a microfinance initiative. And we're introducing a Buy Birmingham First policy that hopefully will give priority to local companies to bid for council work. I've set up a youth employment commission to bring together key players from the business, education and third sectors with national experts to tackle the city's youth unemployment problems. That commission is looking at how young people can be given greater exposure to the world of work while still at school or college. Now, some of Birmingham's schools are national leaders in this field, giving pupils significant exposure to a range of employers and industries, putting employability and the world of work at the heart of the school curriculum. That's what we're trying to do by introducing something we've called the Birmingham Baccalaureate. The idea, of course, is simply to mainstream the good practice that you can find in a number of schools in the city. Now, long-term youth unemployment leaves permanent scars. We know that from the recessions of the late 70s and 1980s, causing damage, therefore, to young people and to the communities around them, and indeed, I believe, to the local economy. So that Youth Employment Commission, which I spoke of, is looking at how it can expand the number of apprenticeships and indeed jobs available to young people, so that no young person in Birmingham is out of work for more than a year. Now, I don't know whether that objective is deliverable, but it's certainly an objective each and every one of us can aspire to. What we'll be seeking to do is to map out the journey young people make from education to work, clarifying that issue of leadership and responsibility for different aspects of that journey. Just one further comment and final comment from me, and that is around the cultural scene here in Birmingham. Entrepreneurial places are actually creative places. Don't let us forget that. And if we want businesses to come to Birmingham, if we want businesses to flourish in Birmingham, then we need to make Birmingham an even better place in which to live. A dynamic cultural scene is therefore crucial to my goals of Birmingham becoming Britain's enterprise capital. And next week, I'm hosting a two-day event to encourage a debate on the arts and culture in this city, out of which I hope will come a proposal for a new cultural strategy for this city. The Monday following that weekend, then we will be having a sports summit, seeking to do very much the same with the sports organisations here in the city. So let me, I'm just a little late in the agenda, let me bring my remarks to a conclusion. I'm certainly, and I hope the City Council leadership, is under no illusions about the challenges that we face as a City Council, and indeed the challenges we face as a city. On its own, Birmingham City Council cannot change the future of Birmingham, but we can bring together those ideas and drive those ideas forward that will make a difference. We can, we should, and we will protect and open up opportunities for the most vulnerable. What I'm saying to you all is that together we can make a difference. And the young people, I believe, are key to whether or not this City Council and this city succeeds. The task for me, the task for the whole city, and not just the City Council therefore, is about putting leadership at the heart of that task which I've spoken about. I think the foundation, which you're all supporters or subscribers to, is an important driver in taking forward that task. And therefore may I take this opportunity in wishing you every success in the future, and I hope that the City Council can maintain its involvement in helping you drive towards that success. Thanks indeed.